started in 1973. My father-in-law and his father actually set out to do this. They lived in the Chicago area and looked all over the Midwest really for farmland to grow wine grapes and eventually make wine. And originally we kind of thought a lot of the industry would be up this way. There's some really nice land up here, really good soil, good topography. We're relatively close to Lake Michigan shore, so we get a lot of lake protection. And so all the variables came together on this particular farm. And it's been a great farm for us. But as the industry evolved, many of the other wineries decided to be a little closer to Chicago, which makes a lot of sense, right? It's a good 2 hours from Chicago here, and most of the other Southwest Michigan wineries are about half that far away. So we're kind of up here on our own a little bit, although there are more wineries coming into our region now than there were before. So it's kind of fun to have some neighbors finally. But our proximity has really helped us. We end up being a little closer to Grand Rapids, closer to Holland. Some of the lakeshore communities up here have really embraced us and really helped to keep us going over all these years. And there's so much agriculture here that we really fit in, whether it's tree fruits or blueberries and all kinds of stuff that's sort of sensitive to weather is all just nestled along the lake. And so it is fun. The Chicago crowd comes up and really gets that immersive agricultural experience when they come out to the farm here. Yeah, I think that's a nice way of putting it. Crazy might be another way of putting it.
That too.
Right.
That goes with the job.
Yeah, no, there was just a handful of winemakers. Bernie Rank was, you'll probably hear his name when you get up to the Traverse City area. He was doing wine grapes up there. There was just a few. St. Julian was in business. They were pre-Prohibition. They actually came back after Prohibition.
Oh, wow.
But we were one of the first to really get serious about it. And it was really just a hobby of my father-in-law and his dad that kind of got out of control, really out of control. So, but yeah, we had to travel all over and meet people to learn how to do it because there certainly wasn't the resources that we have today as far as both formal education, but also just mentors and illustrations to follow. In 2012, I was about 10 years in the software marketing world, which obviously prepares you well to be a winemaker.
Oh yeah, perfect.
It prepared me well to be a wine drinker, and it was a job that gave me the opportunity to travel a lot. And so one of the things I'd always seek out was wine regions and wineries, and it was always a passion of mine. And when I met my wife, we enjoyed traveling to wine regions together, and in Michigan and all over really. And after a period of time, her father basically made the decision that if he was going to start kind of down that retirement glide slope, and he kind of approached us and said, it's not, I don't want to put any pressure on you because do what you want, but if you want to do this, now's the time because I'm not going to be here forever. And I've spent a lot of years making a lot of mistakes, and I don't want anyone to make them twice. So we came on board, and I was really working more on the sales and marketing side, which would have been my background. And our winemaker, who had been here for almost about 15 years, very experienced guy, decided to leave and start a smaller winery, which is something that we see a lot. We love that idea. We're a little bit on the bigger side for Michigan. And so I just kind of stepped into the job, and we talked about it for a little bit, and we said, winemaking is going to be the core of what we do. It is who we are. And forever in my career here, it'll help to have sat in that chair. And so I took over making the wine a couple years into my tenure here, and then gave up the day-to-day operations a little under 2 years ago. I still oversee all the winemaking. I don't get to do the fun part as much as I used to, but it was nice to sit in that chair for a few years and really understand it at the core level. And it's been fun to watch kind of how we've evolved during that time period too. I mean, it's a shorter season, obviously, than some other regions, but it is temperate. The lake does a great job of keeping us in a pretty nice growing zone. We get a little extra growing season from the lake. We get a little bit of a holdback in the spring, which helps us get through that really dicey part of the season in late April, early May for us, which is when we could start to see some green tissue out while it still be cold. So yeah, the lake is obviously the key, and we tell people that we take people on tours all the time here. One of our things that makes us unique is we do tours out into the vineyard. We actually license the entire property as a tasting room so that we can go out into the vines themselves and actually conduct wine tasting. So in the fall, we'll take folks out when the fruit's getting ripe, and we'll pick a cluster of Chardonnay have them try the fruit and then have them try a Chardonnay, and it's really kind of a unique experience. But people love it. I mean, it's one of the things we get consistently the highest marks for is our focus on education. Kind of like your mission, we try to demystify the process. We try to make it wine approachable to folks. I try to teach them about wine labels on the tour and things that they can take away when they leave. And when we're out there, we always talk to people about basically the factors that make this work, and the lake is obviously the big one. Although there's others too, the rolling hills and the sandy soils that we have here all really come together to make it possible. It's still extreme though. I call it extreme farming. I mean, I think reds are seemingly gaining in steam. We're getting better at growing them here. If you look at our vineyards and look at the way we're farming now, we're doing a better job than ever before at getting things ripe. And so that the Bordeaux reds are the ones that are really benefiting from that because they're pushing the envelope in terms of growing season. So I think it's two parts. I think the market for red wine in our region is growing, but I think we're also producing more and better red wine at the same time. So we're also I'm seeing a drying out of the palate. We make 40 some odd products here, ranging from your really dry classics to sweeter style wines, fruit wines, and the whole gamut. And if you look at the sales of those products over the last, say, decade or so, it's a clear migration towards the semi-dry and drier styles of wine. I think some of it's demographic. I think the younger demographics are definitely trending a little bit drier. But even across all demographics, people, once they get into wine more, it seems like the palate just dries out naturally over time. And they love it, especially when they can get a product that, they didn't think they were going to like. They pick up a Pinot Grigio or something, and prior to that, they've only had this sweet fruit wine, and they try it. And it's kind of, I think, it opens their mind a lot. And then who knows where they go from there.